And now it's time for Fabulous Film and Friends. On this, our 103rd episode, Marvel demanded it and we delivered. Like good corporate citizens, we dutifully marched to the local cineplex and went to see 2025's Thunderbolts, directed by Jake Schreier and starring Florence Pugh, Sebastian Stan, Wyatt Russell, David Harbour, Pullman, Hannah John-Kamen, Geraldine Viswanathan, and Julie Louis-Dreyfus. Why? Because, well, what else is playing in theaters that has any marquee value? My guests today are my two pals from the Treasure Valley that migrated to the great state of Utah, David Johnson, DMD, and Burton Brown. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hey there.
Bert, Bert, it's on you. You got anything quippy to say and funny that relates to all this?
I do not. I am not a funny guy.
That is not true. All right, give us some Huey Lewis.
I want a new drug. There you go.
All right, so before we get down to business, the synopsis. In Thunderbolts, a ragtag group of misfits and vaguely criminal antiheroes are forced to work together to stop a calamitous, world-ending threat. Are we just lockstepping goons for watching this film, or is it worth a damn? Let's start. Burton Brown. Was it worth it?
Yeah, it was worth it. Even my wife thought it was funny. My daughter liked it. She plays Minecraft and didn't really like the Minecraft movie. She said it was funny but dumb. So this one she saw it today with us and she said it was fun. It was good. We liked it.
Dave, you're a big grading guy. What do you give this film?
I give this like a C-, D+.
Ooh, D. That's a bad movie.
D+.
D+.
C-.
Yeah. That's still a bad movie. If you're going to D, so you didn't like it at all.
I like Florence Pugh, if that's anything. Yeah. And that got, who doesn't love Florence Pugh? But sure. Other than that, I could leave the film. I'm not gonna lie, but
I'm afraid this podcast is gonna be like 5 minutes long because I feel like the film had potential but was meh all the way.
Yeah, the beginning for me was just seemed so slow starting off, and and I think, sorry, I'm gonna go off here, but the DC universe with the new Batman and the Flash has been kind of kicking ass on the Marvel universe movies, because I think those two movies, the Flash and the new Batman, I thought those were good movies. I like the Batman better, but the Flash, it was a good superhero movie and tied a lot in, but this felt more like Marvel's Suicide Squad. And as bad as DC Suicide Squad was, this kind of felt similar to me. But
yeah, well, that's for sure. That's
my take.
That's what I was pushing for laughs on my synopsis of the plot. I mean, the plot was just like, okay, we've seen this 1,000 times at this point. So that
and oh, go ahead. Sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay. But that's my point. Is it just had the most rudimentary, bare bones plot. Now the thing that I thought was interesting is it veered into this whole sort of depression and mental anguish angle that they haven't. So it was almost clawing for depth, but they can't see that. Bert, the reason why you liked it is what sort of irritated me is David Harbour was irritating. And David Harbour playing the Red Guardian, I just thought, oh, shut up. You couldn't have had, like, if you had made a Mexican or a black or an Italian superhero and did all those ridiculous cliches, you couldn't be more offensive. Look, I have Russian friends. I'm hardly like pro-Russia, but geez Louise, would you give them a break? That was such a bad stereotype. Oh, Wheaties box, yes! It's like such a terrible, like the entire, like he's so stupid. Stand by for defense measures coming up. Oh, it's wrong. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's a rap music. like, so, look at me. Oh, go over here. I'm here to rescue you. I'm such a moron. It's terrible. So yeah. So my big issue was like, where's the tone of this film? Is it comedy or is it tragedy? So it didn't mix the two well. Bert, did you think it mixed it well? I thought the comedy was dumb and the tragedy was almost good.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it mixed it well. I mean, again, I like the movie. But it's like they didn't focus more or less on one or the other. They just kind of dismissed, the death of one. And I don't know, it just we like the characters in our house because my wife's Eastern European, so all the Eastern Europe jokes we just laugh at.
So was she laughing at the Red
Yeah,
Guardian? She was laughing at the
yeah.
Red Guardian antics?
Well, more so
Again,
the
to me, it would have
Florence
been like
Pugh
if there's an
character, but
Italian character named Spaghetti Man who's going,
yeah, no.
"Hey, this thing needs a little
No.
more sauce in the pizza." That's
Well,
how it was.
when he said something that's about, you're down, but or you're even more down than the typical Eastern European or something like that.
Okay, that
And he
was a
was
fine. That was a fine
she
line.
laughed at that
Yeah,
one.
that was
Yeah.
a fine line. But just the stupidity
But
of them, the crass commercialism, the sort of Euro trash commercialism, it just seemed like, all right, they're playing this up way too much.
the accent is like very familiar. I hear
Yeah,
that accent a lot.
yeah,
Not Russian, just
right.
Eastern
It was
European.
just the standard stock. Again, I don't know. Did any of you guys ever see the Black Widow during COVID when it came out
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
streaming?
I liked it. My
See, I
wife
thought
even liked it.
I thought, look,
So.
I almost made you guys watch it, but I'd like, what? I'm
Mm.
not going to pay to see that again because it was such a turkey. I thought it was Dullsville.
I
thought it was sheer Dullsville.
I actually
let me finish my point because it's a hot one. It's a hot
For
take.
sure. It is hot.
But I would have done like they did with Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man No Way Home with Electro. I would have revamped the Red Guardian in this film and just had him just quiet, drinking, just the quiet bull, like the quiet, the old horse who just doesn't say a word and just like, just glaring at Bucky, just hating on Bucky, the Winter Soldier, like I just would have changed his character completely from the first movie because who even saw it and who even remembered it? The Black Widow movie. Like, do you remember a thing that happened in Black Widow? Bert, what happened in Black Widow? Can you tell me?
Well, it was the development of the Black Widow character.
Nonsense. What happened? Give me the plot.
Well, I don't know. It was her life story when she was young, and she was
fine. What's the plot?
She was kidnapped along with Florence Pugh, and
what's the
when
plot?
They were children.
That's all backstory. Every movie is backstory. The plot was, again, as forgettable as this.
Okay, so
it was just action.
Alex,
kill everybody.
It was the Black Widow's hero's journey.
Yeah, and except she dies.
Yeah. But okay, as bad as the Black Widow was, I actually liked that one. I found it more interesting than this one.
So I'd say this one was better. This one was a better movie. This one looked better.
I think overall,
this one had way better.
It looked better.
This had much better action. Like the scene when they first confront each other in that pit or in the vault. Yeah. There it is, the vault. Yeah. That was a pretty slick little action scene where they're all just sort of whose allegiance and who's fighting whom. I thought that was cool. And then when Bucky shows up, except for, yes, it's the Winter Soldier. It was cool when he shows up and kicks ass. I'm like, okay, this is a well done scene. Then it just sort of fizzled. It didn't. Those had two action scenes, well done, looked good. But about Black Widow, I couldn't tell you one scene that was any good. I just remember. Here's what I remember: the Black Widow. The Taskmaster was a girl, which was lame. And that, like, I hate to sound like a backwards cap fanboy. Well, the Taskmaster's a boy, but it's just like, well, that was dumb. It was just a dumb switch, which is probably why they killed her off because of all the nerds crying foul on that. So they kill her off completely. I mean, look, I didn't like the character, but the way they kill her off was like, well, wait, what?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, like, all right, maybe she'll come back. I don't know. She'll come back as a boy. You
There
know,
you
I've been reborn. But I just hated that character in the first movie, as did everybody. Like, that was just, so I just thought, what a dumb, boring, non sequitur. There, that's the word I wanted for the Black Widow. So this felt a little more alive than that, like a little more vital. But I just would have completely told David Harbour. You know, I hear where I go, my cigar here. I worked with David Harbour, but I did. I did on a movie called Knife Fight. To me, obviously, to the flunkies, obviously, I'm sure to his family, he's a barrel of laughs. But with me, he was very quiet, seemed pretty, like he just wanted to be left alone, and like he was all business. And that's where, if I was a director, I'd go, yeah, hey, Davey, baby, come into your trailer. I hated your character in Black Widow. I'm starting over. You're just gonna be a quiet, teeth grinding, bitter Russian dude who drinks a lot. And tone down the accent because it's bullshit. That's what I would have done. I would have just cut all that crap out. It'd actually be cool to have a father-daughter thing, and he just doesn't give a crap about her. Why would he? He's part of this horrible super soldier program. It's like that's the thing about Black Widow. I don't even remember.
Well, he's not the father anyway.
Yeah, he's not the father.
Role.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, it's just like, why? This all this. I love you. You're the light of my life. It's like, oh, every one of
we
those.
We are family.
Just turkey. Yeah. I just thought, like, as a sitcom, I'm mostly watching Family Ties. So,
hey, Gene, I'm picking up a little Arnold in your accent. Maybe will you redo that for me? Head to the chopper.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm talking too much. I know. I'm beating you. I'm browbeating you guys. Well, who's your favorite character, Bert? Don't tell me it was Red Guardian. After all that,
no, it was not. It's gonna be the Florence Pugh. Does she have a character name? I don't even know.
Yelena.
Yeah. Yelena or
Yelena. Yoskos.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, her. I didn't remember the Captain America guy. Like that he was.
No, he's from the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show. He wasn't in
TV show.
Yes. So you'd have seen that. I thought Wyatt Russell does a fine job. He's all of these guys are given short shrift. It was so they decided to focus on Florence Pugh, but Bucky, who's been brainwashed and had killed Tony Stark's parents and has all this tragedy, they just tidily say, "Oh, I'm over that." So I thought that, well, if the whole thing is about darkness and depression and assassination and finding purpose in your life, that's a good idea for a movie about characters who've been given the short shrift. I don't think it was a bad idea for a movie. I just think the plot kind of inane. So it's just sort of spoilers, but didn't you think it just sort of ended?
Yeah. It was just like, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Like they walk through a hole, they walk through the curtain, and guess what? Fake out.
Yeah.
And like, I would have just had.
You can't kill me now. I
would have just had Red Guardian just go, "There's nothing I can do anyway," and just snap her neck. It's like, all right, he's just like, what? She has them over a barrel now or whatever. Like, no, no, she tried to kill them. Nope, she tried to kill us.
Yeah,
that's it. I was like, this is it. That's the end. So yeah, and then of course more spoilers. They lead up to the Fantastic Four, which completely seemed. Did you guys stay to the end? Bert?
Yeah.
Stay to the end?
Yeah.
So you got the setup that seemed okay. Red Guardian again. That stupid suit and 2 scenes of him. Wheaties box. Look at me on the Wheaties box.
That's me.
And then the other one where he's in the suit with the Avengers with a Z. Like, guys, you keep banking on this character. It's not working. He's Skippy on Family Ties. I just want him dead.
He reminds me of who's The Rock's main sidekick in movies. The Rock.
Oh, are you fishing here? Are you fishing here?
No, but who's his sidekick?
Is he Kevin Hart?
Thank you. Yeah. He's like, that character's like Kevin Hart in movies.
Oh, to me. But it was a grotesque and dumb stereotype. And it was I was just like rolling my eyes the entire movie because I didn't love him in Black Widow. He was far worse in this movie.
Yeah, I agree. He was better in Black Widow.
Again, I'm a firm believer in bad guys need to be bad. And then in this case, he's a Soviet era super soldier who's been given the shaft. Make him bitter. You know? Like make him matter. And especially if the story is all about addressing mental illness and depression. Again, Bucky could have been part of this. John Walker could have been part. Like they only focused on Florence Pugh, and I guess that's the mandate from above. Like only girls are important now. So that just seemed like, why are you ruining and wasting Bucky? You got this character with 15 or how many movies, at least 5 movies of backstory of what a bastard he was, and now he's a senator, a congressman.
Right, so, that was weird.
But it's they've been leading up. It was again, you're missing out on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where he decides to give back, and it's a terrible show. Falcon and Winter Soldier was as bad as you could possibly imagine. Like the first episode seemed a little bit like a Captain America movie, and then by the end of it, it's like this is just a TV. This is like pure television. So that's why I haven't done a second. That's why they haven't done a second season of it. So this movie, the only guy who walks out of it with his head held high is John Walker, and they bring him in, and they give him nothing to do. You know, like it's like none of them.
John Walker's Captain America, right?
Yeah. So okay.
I can't.
Okay,
yeah, and that was like, and I was like, I don't know. It's just he was just they didn't utilize him enough. It was I don't know.
No, the movie could have been instead of being Endgame and being endlessly long. They could have given the movie another 15 minutes and just fleshed out some of the details of Bucky and John Walker. And again, I would have liked Red Guardian not to have as big a part, but just shut up, you know. and then give I like what's her face Ghost. You know, I don't like those Ant-Man movies. If I'm gonna rate all the Ant-Man or all the Marvel movies, those Ant-Man movies to me are pure TV sitcom. I just don't like them. Paul Rudd, who is a great actor, actually. He specifically when he did The Great Gatsby on American Playhouse, he can do good stuff. He's a good actor. Unfortunately, they're just letting him be lazy and play a sitcom character. So I've hated all those Ant-Man movies. I never understood where they were hits. That first Ant-Man, I was like, this is dumb. This is dumb. I don't have any stakes in it. It just feels like a TV show, you know? And so the only one I was sort of interested in was her, and they gave her absolutely nothing to do. You know, she's a good actress. She has striking eyes. Her powers are cool. Like, okay, she's the only one who isn't a Captain America clone, by the way, in the whole deal. You know, it's like you got 3 Captain Americas. You got Red Guardian, you got John Walker, and then you got Bucky, who are all variations of Captain America.
Yep.
And then you got Yelena, who's another, you know, she basically has the same skills as Captain America.
Yeah, super soldier, but
except she's not. She doesn't have a serum in her, so that's another. It's another irritating thing. Yeah. Like, look how strong she is. I mean, she's dead meat. I just hate movies like this. You know, that just so this Sentry smashes her up against the ceiling, throws her on the floor, and the floor looks at least 15 feet high, or the ceiling looks 15, and it's concrete, and she's totally fine. You know.
Yeah.
I know it's movies, but it's like she'd have a broken spine. She's dead. You know, all the other guys fine. It's explained. They got super soldier serum. But, you know, don't put her in that situation where she's getting choked and throttled because she'd be completely dead. You know, it's just, I hate that.
She's like Hawkeye to me.
Yeah.
Because Hawkeye has no superpowers.
Right.
He just shoots a bow and arrow.
Right.
And he should have been dead numerous times.
Right.
But he still is, you know, still lived. And and why? Okay, I did not like the Sentry character. I'm like, this is Superman. That's who he is.
Well, he's the Hulk and Superman. He's the Hulk.
He's the what?
The Hulk and Superman. Well, again, if you've keeping up with comics, and I just do through osmosis, I don't read them. I promise, I don't read them. I'm not lying. I don't read comics, but I keep up, you know, just with Wikipedia and everything, just a who's who or whatever. And it's all like everybody's a superhero, and I've complained about this to Joe every time. Like, it all doesn't matter. So just everybody's Spider-Man, Captain America, Hulk, they're all way too powerful now. They weren't like this when I grew up reading comic books. They had limitations. Captain America was just a guy he's like Batman. He's just a guy in peak physical condition. He's an acrobat. He can juggle.
Yeah.
He's like a
Yeah.
circus. He's like a circus freak with a shield. He's just good. He's not like now. He's just super powerful.
Yeah, superhuman. Yeah.
The ranking was according to Stanley and Steve Ditko, went Hulk, Thing, Thor, Spider-Man. That was it. Everybody else was just average strength, or like just regular Joes. Iron Man wasn't super. Iron Man, his suit couldn't just do anything. He was constantly having to repower it. The comic was better in the 60s and 70s. He was constantly running out of power and having to power himself. There was way more limitations. But the nerds now, they just can't deal with it. Look, my rant is that, Sentry's a dumb character because he's just. I mean, you're right. He's Superman, but he's the Hulk too. Just to add that little twist of don't make him too mad. Don't go too far. He's going to turn evil.
He'll go black.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was my least favorite
or
part.
Dark.
I'd say that was my least favorite part is when all that happened. The finale.
Yeah, and it felt like, okay, when I was watching that, and so just like Stacy my wife fell asleep in the movie.
My wife, and wait, just real quick, Endgame was the last movie my wife left and said, I can't take this crap anymore.
Yeah.
She left. She goes, I'm never watching these movies again.
But that scene when they're in whatever the space, I don't know if it's his mind or whatever. I'm like, this just feels like Doctor Strange movies.
Right.
Now they're just pulling in all this stuff. And
it also felt like Avengers Age of Ultron. I mean, how many times are we going to see them face to face with their fears of the past? It was the least interesting for sure. All of that stuff.
Yeah. But hence that's why I gave it the grade I did. I just, and I looked on IMDb and it's like 7.7 or something. Like fans love it. So
it has a 98 or 95% tomato rating and all that, and audience score, and I'm gonna say C, a solid C. I didn't hate it. I walked out going, that was okay, but then I went, except for David Harbour. And then except for that whole Sentry thing, which wasn't. I mean, I didn't mind him being like bipolar and all that and having two personalities. I didn't think that was the worst of it, but I was sort of irritated that the government created this guy who can defy all physical and all laws of physics, and it's like, well, you have to be from another planet in my mind for the government to work on that. It just seemed too much. So I don't like the character, period. It just didn't seem like a great character. Did Louis Pullman do a good job? I think he did a good job, I think, as the character. Did the actor, I mean, Bill Pullman's son, who was playing Sentry.
He had looks like Bill Pullman does in movies, though.
Yeah.
Like, how Bill Pullman will pull that, I don't even know how to do it, but looking kind of out of the corner of his eyes, looking like he's about to weep. That's kind of what it reminded me of.
Yeah. Well, he looks like his dad for sure. I think he's a good actor.
He was okay. Yeah, I think he was okay.
But here's the deal. They didn't, when the whole, like, the thing would have worked. See, the thing would have worked. Remember, it's all Florence Pugh. And again, the directive, it has to be the girl. Why couldn't all 6 of them, if you're going to go that route, have the group therapy where they did it in the end, where they all sort of held each other up, but they all are killers. They all have depression. They've all done terrible things, right? So they can all relate to this guy. I just thought it was unfair. It's just like, well, this is it's like a quarter of a movie, or what? How many team members? 5th? So it's a 5th of the movie. So there's only one character who gets any attention. And I thought that was lazy, Like, well, give Bucky. Bucky's got, you got Sebastian Stan. Give him a bone. He needs a decent role, and he seemed cool for a change. I used to hate the character Bucky when he first showed up in the Winter Soldier. I was like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. That hairdo, and it's not his fault. The comic book was set up that way. I mean, the comic book has the long hair and the metal arm because it's a 90s creation and where everybody has to have a metal arm in the 90s, So it just
But looking back on Bucky's character, because there's, I mean, this movie we've talked a lot, about it. There's not much else to say on my end, except Florence Pugh was my favorite in there, and I didn't really like Julia.
I'm with you.
I did not. I
She's
did
like
not like her
Elaine from
character.
Seinfeld.
Yeah. I'm like, she's Elaine. I'm sorry, I typecast.
Yeah, no, but but see, that's a problem. Like Jerry Seinfeld's not a good actor, right?
Yeah.
But he'd probably be the first to tell you that. He mugs, but he's a good comedian.
Yeah.
She's a good comedian. She's really funny. She was funny on Saturday Night Live. She was hilarious on Seinfeld. I've never seen Veep, but it's a sitcom, so she can do what she can do. But this movie, it needed more than her for sure.
Yeah. But anyway, back to my point about Bucky, like the Winter Soldier, he was kind of a badass in that one.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, Endgame, I'm just like, he just seemed like, I mean, he's human, obviously. He doesn't,
right.
Well, I guess he has doesn't he have
super strength? Yeah, super strength. Yeah.
And I'm like, he was beating up Captain America and Winter Soldier. I just remember the one scene just taking everybody out, and Black Widow as well. Yeah. And then this one, he blows up the cars with the motorcycle. I'm like, that's it? That's all you're going to give us with this guy? Because in the past,
they showed him again. To be fair, they did show him try his might against Sentry and get his butt kicked, which of course he would, because the guy's Superman. Which is irritating. Like, okay, do you need another Superman? Or again, the rankings. So now Hulk's now down the list. How does it work? Who's the strongest, right? Like, okay, all the characters are freaking strong. Too strong. Like, lower it a bit, or just don't create them. I don't know.
I thought Captain Marvel was the most powerful.
That's what I thought.
That's
not the Hulk.
Everything. Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about my era. Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel was just a cash grab, and nobody even thought of that character until the like mid 80s.
I thought that was like 70s Captain.
She was.
Marvel.
He was.
It was a he back then.
I'm telling you, they killed off the characters. Nobody's buying the comic book. Then they made it Ms. Marvel, and then they kept changing her costume. Like, anytime you're changing the costume, it's because nobody cares. So they're constantly reinventing. Nobody cared about that character. I sure didn't. I didn't read Captain Marvel, or Ms. Marvel. Like, they kept changing it. It was just a cash grab. Why? Because the name Captain Marvel was up for grabs. The original Shazam, because Shazam was Captain Marvel, if you guys are aware.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Shazam was just the word he said. It wasn't called, his character isn't Shazam. His character's name is Captain Marvel. So Marvel was just being jerks, honestly. Because they were like, oh, hey, look what's up. Look, we're Marvel. Let's get Captain Marvel. But the original Captain Marvel is the Shazam comic book.
Oh.
So
but I still think all the originals are the best.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
DC, Superman, Batman. I'm trying to think who else was one of the originals over there.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, Superman,
and then
Flash.
The three big ones in DC are Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. The three big ones in Marvel originally were Fantastic Four, Hulk, and Spider-Man. Captain America just came back through the Avengers. He was a comic back in the 40s. He was a World War II comic book, and that was that was Stan Lee, and it wasn't Jack Kirby. It was Joe Simon, I believe, was the artist. Anyway, he was dead for a while. They brought him back in the Avengers, but he wasn't. Captain Marvel or Captain America wasn't a huge seller, I think, until lately. Honestly, don't quote me on that. He was fine, but he was no Spider-Man, and Iron Man. Iron Man was definitely bottom tier. He was I think he was below Thor, and Thor wasn't. It was the three big ones were Fantastic Four, Hulk, and Spider-Man, as I said. And Spider-Man being on the top of the heap. First, I think it was Fantastic Four, then Spider-Man overtook it. Because for years in the 80s, especially, Spider-Man was kicking everybody's ass. Now he's fairly low tier,
Yeah.
basically because they keep ruining the characters by making everybody spider people,
Well, when everybody is, on steroids,
right.
they're all, it's like, who wins, right?
Right.
I mean, seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly. It's boring. Anyway, when I saw it, I walked out of the theater and went, I can't imagine talking about this film for very long.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah.
well, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't go and watch this movie. I won't even stream this movie again for me.
Yeah, I doubt it. I mean, again, I did like the look. Maybe I would look at the cinematography again. I did think for a Marvel movie, it didn't look as cheap as the other ones. Because most Marvel movies look like TV shows. Even the first Avengers looked the cheapest. Like, this looks like cheapy all the way. It just
Hey, they filmed some of this in Utah.
I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you notice? Was that? I guess it was that car chase, right?
It was in Green River, which is desert.
Were you there? Hey, you're friends with the film commission,
there.
right? Did you get any scuttlebutt about the movie when it was happening? Any inside baseball data that you could give us?
I haven't paid any attention to that. I didn't know they were there. So
So are they going to make more Avenger movies with these characters now? Is that the plan?
Well, they're all part of Avengers Doomsday. Yeah.
They hinted that there was to be more at the end.
No.
They you would see him again, I thought.
Yeah, but they released a little teaser that showed the cast. They're all in it. So they're all they showed the direct. There's if you go online, there's a teaser with Robert Downey Jr. and it lists the entire cast of the new Avengers movie, and it's sprawling. It's got the Fantastic Four, it's got the X-Men, including Patrick Stewart, who's like 99 years old, and I'm like, oh come on, you're gonna dust off Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen.
That's Sir Patrick Stewart to you.
Bert, did you watch? Bert, did you watch Picard season 3?
Not season 3. I think I've seen season 1.
Okay, but season 3 is like, okay, Mr. Data, engage. I mean, he is so frail. Yes.
Geriatrics in space.
No, but like, you're gonna make him play Professor X again, like James McAvoy. If it had been James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender, I'd been like, again, I'm no ageist. Look at my gray hair, but it's just like, no. Patrick Stewart, he can't play Professor X again. Yes, we have Wolverine. It's like, no. So anyway, the cast.
Like, wait, didn't he die in that Wolverine movie?
Yeah, but the cast is sprawling. It's got this huge cast.
They were sure playing up the Fantastic Four. Well, we saw the preview prior to the show.
Yeah.
And then, of course, one of the end credit scenes was
Fantastic
ship
Four
with a 4 on it.
Like, yeah.
Yep.
I didn't ask the final. Would you? I guess we talked about it. Bert, you liked it. Will you recommend Thunderbolts, or will you? Better yet, will you? I think the better question. The recommend question is a weird one because it all depends. I've noticed, like, will you recommend your father? Will you recommend your mother? It always depends because some people would just hate it, right? Would you watch this movie again? That is the question.
I would at some point. I'm not in a big hurry.
Yeah.
At some point, I'll watch it again.
Okay, so it's a thumbs up then.
Yeah. Not an enthusiastic thumbs up, but a thumbs up.
And Bert and Dave, you're a definite no.
No, I don't plan on watching.
I don't know. I'm like Bert, but I'm veering towards no. But like, I don't know. Maybe it'll grow on me.
Yeah, next time we talk, you're like, I watched it again.
I would, but I'll tell you this: I would rather watch. I think I would rather watch Thunderbolts again than the Black Widow or Ant-Man.
Well, I like Black Widow, but I could see that with Ant-Man.
I would rather watch Black Widow than Thunderbolts than Ant-Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good enough. Thanks, everybody.
All right. See ya.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Fabulous Film and Friends. Copyright 2025, a Bel Air Films production.